You know who it is. Let's get down to business. But first, welcome to my channel. Check out my social media for more nail content and the latest upgrade I did to my account because it looks so cool. For today's video, I will be doing a little tutorial on dip acrylic. I left two colors for last, and it is a peachy color and a white. I have absolutely no idea why I thought it was clear, but it is white, which was obviously indicated in the description that I did not read. So with the first three bottles that I took out, you have your dipping base activator and dipping top. There is a fourth bottle that helps you clean your brush. I just don't use it unless there's product on it. But in this case, if you want to use it, by all means, I didn't. So with my swatch here, I put a nice thin-ish thick layer of base onto it. It dries decently, I find. It doesn't dry too quickly nor too slowly, if that makes sense. And what you want to do with the dipping base is you sort of want to go in on an angle. Now, I did it two different ways. So with the peach that I did here, I left it in a bit longer versus when I start dipping in the white. And you actually notice a slight difference on how the product sits at the very edge of the swatch. So because each step is fairly tedious, I do both colors at the same time. So this is the first dip with the peach. I thought the color alone, even with one, looked pretty good. I am more of like a 3 to 5 coat depending on what it is that I'm using. So throughout the video, you do see me dip this 3 times. Same process again with the swatch. We're going to go in with a nice coat of that base. And for those that are concerned about the smell, I was actually really surprised that there was very, very, very little scent to the base. I have invested in a few dip products where the base coat was just too much. So here I actually held the swatch in the powder a bit less. And towards the end of the dipping session, I'll show you what I mean by how it's set. So again, for the first coat being white, I actually really liked how it turned out. And again, with dipping powder, the process is fairly simple. You're going back in with that base with a decent layer, somewhat thick, but not too thick where it's runny, because what you don't want to do is have a very thick layer of that base. It will take longer for it to dry. And then again, you're sort of going in on a 45-degree angle, holding it for a few seconds, and then you're taking it back out. So again, I did it a bit differently. So I held the peach color in a bit longer than I did with the white. And then obviously what you do in between each dip is you're going to tap excessively to remove any excess powder. The kit did come with a brush. I didn't use it, and I also just didn't want to get up to go get it just because I was sort of already in my zone. But what you just saw there is you sort of see a bit of product build up towards the free edge, and that is what I will show you in a moment. Again, back in with your base, a nice coat on the top. Make sure you have, from your, just before your cuticle to the free edge and along the sidewalls, nicely covered. With the white, I didn't hold it in as long as I did with the peach. And I normally just tap the jar just to make sure the product's nice and leveled. Once you take it out, you just tap excessively to remove the excess powder, or you can use the brush. I found when you use the brush immediately, the product will get stuck to it. If you wait a couple of seconds, you let the base dry and then brush off, you wouldn't have much of a problem. And now we're going in for a third time. I was fairly generous. That is my cat. I was fairly generous with this space here. Again, I don't want to make it too thick where it took longer to dry, but thick enough where I got just the perfect amount of product onto it. Again, it does take practice. If it comes out lumpy the first few times, there's nothing a file can't fix. And again, if you notice there is a buildup towards the edge. I do sort of tap it just to see where it is or how much it is that I really need to file. So again, you are tapping excessively, and I think my cat wants to join in on this video today. Again, tap excessively, make sure the product is nicely off. Here you do see me tapping just that free edge where the product is starting to build up. Again, it could just be how I held it, how long I held it in. It could be a few factors, but again, there's always a file that can easily fix that. So I'm gonna let that dry. So that was 3 coats of that peach powder. I thought it was super cute. Now again, we're gonna be fairly generous with the base coat here with our last coat of the white that I actually really, really like. So I'm probably thinking for my next video, I might use my own hands so you can get like a better view of how you're supposed to do it. But more or less, rather with a swatch, a practice finger, or your own finger, it's the same idea. Base coat, dip it, tap, wait to let it dry, activator, top coat. This process is really the same, it's just how you're doing it. So again, tapping excessively, make sure that product is nice and clean and smooth. And when you see here, I actually found the white to be a lot smoother than the peach. Again, trial and error. I've only done dip a few times to a point where I like my own little technique, and this is just how I do it. More or less, the instructions are probably the same if I'm not mistaken. So again, there's your peach and there's your white. This is what the peach and the white look like without the activator. Again, if you look at that peach, you can definitely see that build up towards the free edge. It was slightly still wet, so again, just a few seconds just for it to dry, no biggie. And again, I thought these colors looked really, really nice. So now we're gonna go in with our bottle number 2, and that is the activator. I was very, very generous because you want to make sure you are covering the entire product to make sure everything will be set and ready to go. I only buff and file after the activator. Some people do it before. I like to do it after so I know like the product is set and ready to go. So again, if you happen to get it on your cuticle, it's really no biggie. It's just more of like a liquid. You can just use like a small Q-tip and some rubbing alcohol and you can remove it. There's no harm in it, but just try to make sure you're getting that on the actual product itself so it sets nicely. And I went in with the smoothest side of that little buffer block, and I just want to make sure my whole application is nice and smooth. Again, with that build up towards the very edge of that nail, it's going to move that. Again, with the product at the edge of the nails, I want to make sure it's nice and smooth. I like to have my applications as smooth as possible. Mistakes happen. My applications are never perfect, but I mean, again, practice makes improvement. You find your own technique and how you do it. Some people do 3, some people do 5. I find 3 to be a really good number, especially with the dip system, because the first dip is sort of, you're establishing your foundation, and then you're sort of finalizing it and sealing it properly with the second and third one. Again, with the white, as I mentioned before, I didn't find the need to file it as much. I already found it to be fairly smooth with it. So there you have it. Nice and buffed. And now we're going to go in with the top coat. If you guys saw my reel or YouTube short, I played the song Juicy by Doja Cat. And that is the exact same process here. A nice, beautiful coat of this top coat. And honestly, maybe 2 minutes, maybe 3. I don't remember how long I took a break from this video to even let it dry. But again, the scents were very, very, very minimal. So if you have any sensitive issues to scents and chemicals, I know some products are very strong. I highly recommend Clara Colors as a beginner. It gives you everything. It's definitely more than 11 pieces. And again, I found it on Amazon for $10. And these colors are absolutely beautiful. It probably took me, I'll probably say around half an hour to do all 7 colors, plus or minus a few distractions. Final product, your peach and your white. Super, super cute. These were the 4 colors that I have. The pinks, I really like that second one from the bottom or the third from the top, however you want to look at it. These are the browns that I thought were super, super, super cute. I love my nudes. I'm starting to love my nudes. I think they're absolutely great. And last but not least, there is this beautiful white that I am really obsessing over. Again, I don't even know why I thought it was clear, but hey, here you go. I hope you like these colors as much as I do. Again, Clara Colors, 11 pieces on Amazon. I found it for $10. Feel free to let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Feel free to drop your Instagram handles down below. But until then, I will see you next time.